بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, today's lesson we will study the modifications of roots. Okay, in the last lesson or in the last session we talked about the root system. Okay, and I told you there will be two sections of this lesson. The section number 1 is to study about the root system, the morphology of roots, and the type of each one of root systems, and also we know the types of roots. Okay, and I think you're able to identify each type of the roots for monocotyledons and also dicotyledons. Okay, in this lesson we will talk about the section number 2 of the root system, which is the modifications of roots. Okay, let us know at first what the meaning of modification. When I say modification, that I mean that the changing in the morphology of roots in order to enable the plant to perform certain functions, as we will see. So these functions make the plant to survive or to for example, you can say to adaptation in the certain environment. Okay, so in some plants, the roots change their shape and get modified to absorb and transport water. This is the base function of root, which is absorb water and nutrients from the soil and transport it to the plant, upward to the plant, right? So in addition of this basic function, there is in the modified roots there is another functions which are to storage food and to respiration, and also we can say to mechanical support for the plant. Okay, so we already know that we have two types of root. We have taproot, and another type is adventitious root. So the taproot modification in order to storage of food are classified into conical roots. The conical roots, it's familiar for all of us because we always eat it. It's a carrot, for example. It's a carrot. So the conical roots, the morphology of this root is you can say are broad at the base and conical and the apex broad at the base and conical at the apex, as in the picture below. Okay, it's a carrot, for example. Number 2, fusiform roots. Fusiform roots are swollen in the middle. In the middle of the root, it's swollen. Okay, and tapering towards both end and apex, or both ends is tapering. Tapering means it's going to be tap. Okay, so in both ends it's tapering and it's swelling in the middle. Example of this type is radish. or we can say white radish. The third one is nappy-form roots. Nappy-form roots, as in the picture. It's also taproot, but it's modified to storage food. That's the morphology or the characteristic of it is spherical at the base, or we can say it's broad at the base and taper towards the apex. Taper towards the apex. The apex of this taproot is taper, going to be tap, and in the base of the taproot it's spherical. And in the picture, it's the example of this type is turnip. Okay, these are three taproot modifications type for in order to storage food. This is a picture also is the three type of taproot. It's taproot because it's developed from the radical, as we know. The taproot it's always develops from the radical. So the carrot and radish and turnip are the modifications of the taproot because these roots are developed from the radical. And I know you have seen it before because it's food stuff or it's vegetable roots. We always eat it. Okay, let us to know what the modifications type in order to to do another functions for better respiration. This type of root modified to for better respiration, you can say. It's a respiratory roots. It's called respiratory roots. In some halophytes, such as Rhizophora, that grow is in swampy areas. Swampy areas, that's the picture. There are water covered the soil. Okay, it's called swampy areas. Okay, the plants in these areas, such as Rhizophora, the root emerge out of the ground. The roots emerge out of the ground to get oxygen for respiration. Because this area covered with water, as you see in the picture. So the root emerge out of the soil to get oxygen for respiration. Okay. This type of root we can find in Rhizophora plant. The root tips of these plants, I think you know the part of the root. So the tip of the root of these plants have pores called lenticels, through which they respire. Through the pores, these pores, which called lenticels, the root which respire or which get the oxygen through these pores. Okay, and it's example for respiratory roots. So it's a root, but it's modified for in order to respiration. Okay, but it's a taproot. Okay, another taproot modifications is nodulated root. Okay, nodulated root, we can find it in all leguminous plants, such as peanut, pea, and also clover. So these leguminous plants are modified, or the roots of these leguminous plants are modified into root nodules. There is a part called root nodules. These root nodules contain bacteria such as rhizobium, okay, that helps to fixing the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate and make it available to the plant. So this bacteria, or we can say rhizobium, it helps the plant to fix the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates and make it available to the plant. Okay, so it's useful to the plant, or we can say it's a symbiotic relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship. So we can see this in the picture. We can see nodules on the taproot, and also in the laterally or secondary roots. There is a nodules. Inside these nodules, there is a bacteria called rhizobium, and as I said, and it helps fixing of atmospheric nitrogen to the plant. Okay, this is nodulated roots. And we can find it in leguminated or leguminous plants. Okay, now we are going to know about the adventitious roots modifications. Okay, adventitious root modifications also has many functions. Okay, for example, or the first one is for storage food, or for food storage. We have 5 types of modifications of adventitious roots in order to food storage. Number 1 is simple tuberous roots. Simple tuberous roots. The characteristics of this one is it's swollen. It's a swollen and do not assume any shape. There is no certain shape of this one, but it's a swollen. For example, it's a sweet potato. Okay, as in the picture on your right hand, it's a sweet potato. It's an example for simple tuberous root. It's a swollen and does not have a same shape. Okay, number 2 is nodulous root. Okay, these nodulous roots are single beads. They became swollen at the apex. Okay, and have a definite shape. For example, of this type of root is in mango ginger. Mango ginger has an adventitious root, which is nodules root. In the picture below, you can see on your right hand, the right shape, or on your left hand, the left shape is nodulous root marked by a letter A. This A is a nodulous root shape. Okay, number 3, fasciculated roots. We can see it in the middle of the picture. That's letters B and C. I'm sorry. The fasciculated roots are in the next picture I will show you. Okay, let us describe it now, but I will show you the next picture. Fasciculated roots is a cluster of adventitious roots. Cluster means in the bundle. Always grow as a bundle of adventitious roots for food storage. They have a definite shape also. For example, is the helium. And I will show you at the next slide. Okay, number 4 is moniliform roots. Moniliform roots. We can see it in the middle of this picture below. Number B, or the letters B and C. It's a moniliform roots. Okay, it's characterized by its shape like necklace. Okay, because you can say beads, swords like the necklace, are swollen and looks like a necklace. For example, we can find it in the grasses. Okay, and some plants called Momoredica and B. You can see the shape marked with B letter. It's moniliform roots of Momoredica plant. Okay, you can see the necklace shape, and also in C we can see the bead-like necklace. This one is the grasses roots, or grasses adventitious roots, had this type, which is moniliform roots, B and C. Okay, the fifth one is annulated roots. Annulated roots. These roots characterized by what? Has an appearance of a disc. It looks like a disc. Disc placed one over the other, as in the picture marked with D. Picture marked with D. We can find this one in the ipecac plant. Ipecac. Okay, you can see the discs, or it's shaped like discs placed one over the other. Okay, one over the other. Okay, here this picture show you the types of each of the adventitious roots modified to storage food. We see we saw the tuberous root. We saw the example of sweet potato. Okay, and also in this this left picture we can see the fasciculated roots. As I said to you, it's always grow as a bundle. or as a cluster, like this picture. It's avasculated roots, always grow together like bundles. Okay, avasculated root. For example, this root is we can find it in the Dahlia plant, the Dahlia. Okay, and also you have in your right hand, you can see annulated roots. We said it's like a disc placed one over the other. Okay, you can see the shape of this root. We can find this type in ipecac plant. Ipecac. Okay, also there is another functions of modifications of adventitious roots, which is in order to support the plant. In order to support the plant. Okay, this has several types. Number one is prop roots. Okay, these roots develop from branches of the tree, from the branches of the tree. As I said to you, the adventitious roots also or always develop from any part of the plant except the radical, right? So this one is developed from the branches of tree or of the tree, hang downwards and penetrate into the ground, thereby supporting the tree. It's hanging down from the branches and penetrate into the ground, okay, or into the soil, thereby supporting the tree. Roots of banyan tree is an example of this one, and I think you had saw the banyan tree, and I will show you on the next slide. The second one is stilt roots. Stilt roots. These roots grow obliquely from the basal node of the stem. You can imagine the stem and the basal node of the stem. These roots are developed from. Example is roots of the sugar cane. And I know both of you are working in the plant, and I think you know the sugar cane. Okay, you can go and observe the stilt roots on sugar cane, and I will show you also. Number 3, climbing roots. Okay, these roots are the adventitious roots that arise from the knots or internodes in plants having weak stems. Okay, having weak stems. These roots help the plants in climbing by penetrating the cracks of the port, as a pothos or money plant, or they may stick firmly to a support by secreting a cementing gummy substance, okay, as in Ficus pumila, plant Ficus pumila. Okay, these climbing roots has 2 ways to support the plant. Number 1, or you can say number 1 is like the roots in money plant, helps the plant to stand up or to grow up by what? By penetrating the cracks of the support. However, or whatever this support was, if it's a wall, if it's a plant, another plant, okay, if it's a stick, so this plants have adventitious roots comes from the knots or interknots of this stem of this plant, and helping the plant to climbing up by two ways. One of these ways is to penetrating the cracks of the support, or the other way is to secrete a cementing gummy and stick firmly to a support. Okay. Number 4, clinging roots. Clinging roots. These roots enter the crevices of some support and fix the plant also. For example, we can find it in orchids. Okay, clinging roots. It's also support plant to climbing up by enter the crevices of some support and fix the plant. Okay, number 5, buttress roots. These are vertically elongated basal part of the stem. Okay, it's grow vertically. Elongated basal part of the stem. Okay, you can see the stem, or you can imagine a stem of a huge tree, and these roots, which are adventitious roots, okay, grows vertically elongated from basal part of the stem and spread in different directions in the soil, so you can see it over the soil. Okay, these are horizontally compressed and appear like planks. It appears like planks. For example, bombax. Remember this name of each example I give you. This one is we can find it in bombax trees. It's buttress roots. This is all for supporting the plant. Okay, here on your left hand you can see the stilt roots in sugarcane and also in the maize. We can see the stilt roots. It develop from the base of stem of the plant and grow lobically. And on the right hand you also can see the banyan tree, the prop roots of banyan tree. The prop roots, as we said, it's developed from the branches. You can see in the picture that the branches of the tree, there is adventitious roots develop from it and penetrate into the ground. As you see in the ground, there is a touch, or it's not touch, it's go deeply. It connect to the ground. Okay, it's not hanging just in air. No, it's connect to the ground, so it's penetrate the ground to support the plant, as you see in the picture. And the other two is climbing roots, as the picture in your right hand in money plant. Okay, climbing roots. It helps the plant to climb up on the support, because this type of plant has weak stem. That means cannot stand with himself. So this root helps it to climb up. Okay, and in your left hand there is a orchid roots, which are climbing roots, also help the plant to climbing up. But the difference between both of these is climbing roots is usually green color. Okay, the climbing roots as the money plant, they're usually green. Okay. Okay, here. Here we can find the climbing roots. As we say, it's penetrate the crevices of support. In this situation, support is a wall. The support is a wall, so the roots try to penetrate the crevices or the cracks, go through the cracks in the wall to support plant to stand up. And also in orchid, in this situation of orchid, the support is another plant. Okay, and the climbing root supporting it by goes firmly or stick firmly with the other plant. So you can ask me, I gave you orchid has climbing root. We will meet another example with orchid with another modified roots. Okay, so the orchid have more than one modified adventitious roots, as you will see. These buttress roots, as I said to you, in bombax tree. It's a huge tree, and as you see, these roots comes from the base of the stem and go vertically and to support the plant. It looks like planks. It's also known as a plank's root. Okay, also known as plank's root. Okay. Now we are going to know the modification of adventitious roots for special functions. There's another special functions for modification of adventitious roots. Okay, the first one or the first type of these roots is epiphytic roots. Okay, these roots are aerial, hanging and spongy. It's aerial, that means it's not attached to the soil or not attached to the ground. Okay, it's aerial, hanging, still hanging, and spongy. These aerial roots possess a special sponge-like tissue known as velamen. Okay, this velamen absorbs and stores moisture from the air. So these roots have tissue. Okay, it's a special sponge-like. It's like a sponge. Okay, it's a tissue. This tissue absorbs and stores moisture from the air. Okay, absorbs and stores moisture from the air and called velamen. This tissue called velamen. The second one is sucking roots. These are microscopic, okay, developed by the roots to absorb nutrients from the host. Developed by the root. And to do what? To absorb nutrients from the host. That means this parasitic plant grow in another plant. We can say it's host. The another plant we can call it as host plant. Okay, and the parasitic plant use his sucking roots to absorb the nutrients from the host plant. I hope you can imagine the picture. These are also known as the parasitic roots. Okay, these parasitic roots found in the parasitic plant. Some plants are parasitic, as you will see in the next picture. Number 3 is floating roots. These arise from the knots of the aquatic plants, okay, and help in floating and respiration. For example, Josia, okay, Josia plant. The roots of this type of plant help the plant to floating on the water and also to respiration. It's called a floating roots. And you can observe its arise from the knots of the plant. Okay. Okay, this is a picture showing the aerial absorbing root, which is epiphytic roots. In this picture showing you the velamen tissue. It's epiphytic roots. As I said to you, it's a hanging roots, aerial roots, not attaching to the ground. Okay, it's hanging and aerial roots, and it absorbing the air or absorbing the moisture from the air by the tissue, the spongy tissue called velamen. Okay. And I think this picture is for orchid. As I said to you, orchids have several type of adventitious modified roots. One for the clinging roots, as in this picture. There is a clinging roots, help it to firm on the another plant. Okay, and also had a aerial or epiphytic roots, aerial absorbing roots, or we can say it's epiphytic roots. Okay. Also here we had sucking roots. For example, this plant is coscota. Okay, this plant coscota has sucking roots, also called hostoria. These roots also called hostoria. This stem, as you see, this stem, large stem, is for another plant called host. It's host plant. Okay, and the coscota, it's a parasitic plant. get nutrients from the host plant. Okay. As you see also in this picture, the root, the second root of Cuscuta, get nutrients from the host plant. Okay. And also here we have the floating roots, helps the plant to float on the water, and also to respiration. We said it's a spongy root, right? It's also a spongy. The right picture show you the Josica plant roots. It's also floating roots. Okay. And the first one is assimilatory roots. Assimilatory roots. These are also known as the photosynthetic roots. Photosynthetics. That means it a green, right? While it's a photosynthetics, that means it has a chlorophyll to make it to enable to do the photosynthesis with the sun. So this modified to do a photosynthesis for the plant, but it's a root. As you know, the photosynthesis always happen in the leaves of the plant, but in this situation the roots are modified to help the plant to manufacture the food. Okay, these when exposed to the sun, when it is exposed to the sun, it developed chlorophyll and manufacture food. Example for this type is Tinospora. It's assimilatory roots, or we can say it's a photosynthetic roots. Number 5, it's mycorrhizal roots. Mycorrhizal roots. Mycorrhizal called for the relationship or the symbiotic relationship between the fungi and the tree or the plant. There is a relationship between fungi and the plant, or in some plants called mycorrhizal. These roots here is mycorrhizal roots. The symbiotic association of a fungus with higher plants is called mycorrhizal roots. The fungus absorbs nutrients from the soil for the plant, and the plant in turn provides organic food to it. That means to the fungus. It's a relationship, it's a symbiotic relationship. Each one of these help or provide something to another. That means the fungus, or as I said, the fungus absorbs nutrients and waters from the soil and send it to the root of the plant. In turn, the plant provides the organic food for the fungus. We can find this one or these mycorrhizal roots in pinus plant. Okay, and I will see you also. I will show you. I will show you in the next picture. Okay, number 6 is reproductive roots. In some plants, such as sweet potato, the adventitious roots give rise to buds which develop into leafy shoots. Roots cutting are main mode for what? For reproduction. That means if you take a sweet potato and try to plant it in the soil, we will develop another new plant. That's the reason of this is there is a buds in this adventitious root, I mean in the sweet potato. Okay, it's adventitious root, as I said to you. So the sweet potato is an adventitious root, but it has a buds give rise to the leafy shoots or to develop another new plant. Okay, so this can make what helps the plant to reproduction by this method. Here we have photosynthetic roots. As I said to you, it's green, so when it's exposed to the sun, it helps the plant to manufacture food, or it's manufactured food by the photosynthesis. Okay, example of this plant is Dinospora. Also we have mycorrhizal roots. As I said to you, it's a symbiotic relationship between the plant and the fungus. Okay, and also here we have a reproduction or reproductive root. It's a sweet potato, as in the picture. It's a sweet potato, but it has a bud. Okay, it has buds that arise to develop the leafy shoot or for the new plant, as in the picture. Okay, so now we had finished all types of adventitious roots and modifications, and also for tap roots. And this picture showing you the fruit vegetables. Okay, and I want from you to try to identify each one of them, which is tap root and also which is adventitious root modified. Okay, try to identify each one, which is adventitious and also which is taproot. And here in this picture showing you all root modification. And now we had finished, and I hope to see you in the next time in the next lesson. Bye bye.